Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the Rational Investors Crypto Countdown, Crypto Top 100, Crypto Review, Crypto Party. Crypto tastes great. Crypto, can't wait. Anyway, our fun little crypto show we do here midweek, Wednesday evenings. I want to see whether YouTube kicks in. Hey, there it is. Yay. Hello, everyone! Hey, look at that. Awesome. All right, well, that's good. I'm probably not going to have a hell of a lot of viewers, but for those people that do watch, we get about a few hundred people through the week. Hope you enjoy the banter. I will say I really enjoy working with my cohorts here. It's a great way for me to actually interact with the site members and sort of keep an eye, see whether Derek, I can convince Derek to write the final exam. This is one way for me to harass him. Maybe that's why he didn't show up tonight. So Derek's MIA tonight because he's too embarrassed. I think he said he started a new job too. So, oh, geez, no. I gotta say though, I was talking in the show and we had our Stock Pickers Club meeting last night. And we've got a whole new batch of level 3ers that are going to be joining all those clubs. And actually, one by one, if I'm not even mistaken, I think somebody weaseled their way into the day trader room there recently. But it's great to see them coming along. And I love to see the maturation of TRIers on the site. And then, of course, you know, the good part about it is I can just tell, like, somebody like Nick's going to go out into the world and hopefully we've demonstrated to him enough of the best practices principles. He's going to pass that on to 100 million people, and the good word will be passed on. I don't know, Ben, do you come into a lot of contact with people, or do you work remotely? Well, I haven't ever asked you, so I suppose I should say hi to the guys tonight, eh? How about that? Why don't we start off with, good evening, gentlemen. How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Hi, Nick. Nick in the great state of Minnesota, he said he'll be happy the last week of April. If I understand correctly, Mars, Saturn, conjunct, end of the world, Armageddon is April 4th. So I sure hope you make it through to the end of April. Because I really would love to see you happy.
Anyway. Thanks. Yeah, totally selfless, just for my benefit, not the world still existing or anything.
I'm being silly. Anyway, how are you doing this evening, Nick?
I'm good, and I'm shocked that somebody has weaseled their way into the day trading room.
Incredible, especially while they're still in the school. So
I know.
Just goes to show they're proactive. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Hey, and if you ask Brian nicely, you never know what the hell he'll do. So there's an open invitation.
I did think I asked fairly nicely.
Dude, you are the consummate gentleman. I wish I could be half as agreeable as you are. I can see you're going to do very, very well in life. I love that about interacting with you. You have such a, it's a really, like, that's why I thought, remember I had suggested once way back when that you hang out with Kevin? Because Kevin had that kind of karmic flow about him too, and I thought you two would get along really well.
Yeah, we did. We met up a couple times when I was in Albuquerque. I haven't talked to him since I moved, but I mean, yeah, great guy.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, I'm not really the best person. I'm opinionated, I'm loudmouth, I'm a pain in the ass. And it's actually really, really nice to surround myself with all of these really good people. And some of your goodness eventually rubs off on me. So thank you. And speaking of goodness, Ben, not to be undone, our Floridian, I guess, you're a week and a half away from happiness. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's going to be good. Going to move into a home of my own.
Oh, so, right on. Okay. Yeah. Oh, because you're kind of living with the in-laws right now, right? Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, we've been doing the build, so.
Isn't that fascinating? So everybody's like on the move right now. I wonder if that's like that. Like that is probably also going to contribute a lot to GDP. So people are actually getting off their asses and spending money. Whereas for like the past 10 years, like everybody's just been hunkering down and saving and fretting, and so fascinating how that's played out. So how are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Yeah.
Excellent. Wow, that's
Happy
good.
to be here.
Pardon me?
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
So PMA for the win. obviously extremely difficult times that we're in. So, thoughts and prayers go out for people. Don't really need to name names. We all know the 300-pound gorilla in the room. Our job here tonight, I suppose, maybe if we're lucky, distract you a little bit from the insanity. And let's go maybe have some fun. It's interesting to see. I mean, it's awfully hard not to see its influence, but I wonder if Russian purchases of cryptocurrencies, trying to get out of their local currencies that are falling a bit, might be helping the Bitcoin price. I don't know. It's always dangerous to point fingers because, the silly American politicians that want to regulate crypto. If crypto goes crazy right now because of that, I'm a little worried that they're going to go, see? Now we got bigger problems down the road. But actually, I even later on this afternoon, I was playing around with some charts and looking at the Bitcoin price, and gee whiz. Sure looks like it's catching a bid here. We did have a really nice dead cat bounce off of a reload zone. I mean, ironically enough, this stuff is... after a while, it just gets so cliche. So, not a huge surprise we jumped up top here. What I was really proud of is we spent TRI. TRI's basically spent the past, 3 or 4 years trying to build this bread signaling system out. And what I was really, really pleased about was how the algorithm had turned up here. And what's funny is about a week or two ago, I even sort of put tweets out going, this thing can't go below 0. And people are like, hey, that's some really good value, Brian. Some guy's like, that's bringing alpha. And I was like, I'm just showing off my math skills. So, I mean, I got to say, I love the breadth indicator. I think it nailed that market turn nicely there. And I have to say, we have one gentleman on the site who's sort of managing the Twitter feed now. The sort of official TRI Twitter feed. Because remember, I'm a knucklehead. So I'm not, if anything, I'm not really the best spokesman for these kind of sites and services. Because I end up saying like really politically controversial things that just piss people off. So. But we have gentleman Josh on the site who's sort of taken over the feed. And I gotta say, man, these numbers are just stunning. So literally, we've been running this thing here since basically Christmas. Talk about a Christmas present, eh? Holy shit. Merry Christmas, Brian. 30 years of your hard work has finally paid off. Merry Christmas. So talk about a Christmas gift. And look at these numbers. This is nuts. So, wow. I mean, I got, not only did I get Sjord's breadth indicator as a Christmas gift, but I also got Josh as a nice added treat where he's going to sort of take over the official marketing of this. Because frankly speaking, I think this one tool could change the whole cryptoverse. Make it actually really easy to be able to try and time your purchases in the market. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it down the road. Actually, I told one person today who's sort of like, Brian, we got to get you, he wants us to have 1 million viewers. You ready for that kind of shit, Nick and Ben? You want us to have 1 million people watching our videos?
I'd prefer to keep it where it is so we can keep our edge. But,
but he's got, Brian, it's about time, right? Yeah, actually, this is the guy. Isn't that funny? Fucking speak of the devil. Anyway, he's sharing a video with us. I won't name names, so I'll just I'll leave it anonymous. But he just shared this video in the lounge, and he said, "Brian, you need to watch this." So, Principles for Dealing with a Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. Fascinating. So, looks like we all got some fun watching to do. After the show, please, not during.
I was going to say, that's actually probably a synopsis of his... He released a book of that exact same name a couple months ago.
Yeah. Well, Ray's been around a while. Yeah.
I mean, I usually like his analysis. I think
Mm.
he's a pretty smart dude.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think he ran a pretty successful fund. And the irony of it all is that, you guys heard me. I mean, you guys have taken the course now. So I don't think, I'm preaching to the choir with you guys. I mean, the interesting thing is that I actually built this back right around the time of the turn of the last cycle. That's I used to literally do this where's a good one to show you? Let's go an ETF here. So this is EZA. I have no idea what this is. This South African fund. So this index that you see here, I used to actually calculate this by hand every single day and write on the charts. Oh, RSI is above 50 plus 1. MACD is above 0 plus 1. Oh, the Williams percentage R is below minus 50 minus 1. The whole thing. So, I mean, and that's like 20, 30 years ago. So this is, I got to tell you, I mean, if I got a birthday gift or a Christmas gift this year, wow, it's this. I mean, this tool is just, it's incredible because it's like literally my whole career in a nutshell here. It's quite shocking, really. And I got to say, man, this crypto breadth, and I told everybody, and we're sort of building out the tutorial. So now I think we have like a really good example. About a week or so ago, this crypto breadth, did you guys notice that? The crypto breadth went like heavily negative, both short and medium term.
Yep.
And I said, whenever you see that, that's a huge kick-ass buy signal. And that was also sort of that same time that we had the breadth indicator basically right at 0. So it was almost like, the market had no choice. It couldn't go any further down. Everybody had already sold. So that's the irony of this trading stuff. Anyway, great to have another opportunity to hang with my boys. What I did notice, though, is and I couldn't believe this, halfway through the week, I think, Nick, it was somebody who said, we forgot to make predictions last week. So
yeah, we did.
Nobody predicted anything. Isn't that kind of funny? We're all gun shy from getting humiliated.
No, I'm fine being humiliated every week.
Well, as long as your contrarian picks work, right? So somebody over on YouTube, all 13 of you, obviously we have a huge following here. But somebody remind us before the end of the night that we gotta update this. So isn't that interesting? We actually basically just went like full circle there, right?
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks where it's been up 7,000, down 7,000, up 7,000.
Freaky. What does that mean? It's got to mean something.
I mean, I think we did an inverted Bart Simpson on the charts, but...
Yeah, in a weird sort of way, it's kind of like that, right? And the weird thing is I've been kind of barking that I thought, I mean, this is a shorter term one. Yeah, I thought that this bottom here, and actually I guess that's what these little funny little date things were. This bottom here was going to have to be something along that duration, 138 bars. So here we are, just marching our way through that 138 bars. Up, down, up, down, up, down. What do you think? We got one more down ahead of us? And then maybe, man, who knows? Looking at that 2-hour chart, like really zooming in on this little W down in here. The cool thing is Foggenbaum is up here at 64,500. Interesting. So if we do break out through the top here, oh boy, man, we got a long way to go to the upside here. Anyway, we probably should see a lot of our names. I don't know whether they've actually lifted off of their lows yet. They're probably like Bitcoin. A lot of them kind of are going to try and show us W's, but I think a lot of the altcoin space went to kind of like new lows here recently, didn't it?
A lot of them did, yeah.
Yeah, so it might be setting up things like heads and shoulders, stuff like that. Also, oops, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, back on that other one where you had the 138 days or whatever it was, I don't know. Like, it looks like that 138th day is right around April 2nd or so, maybe not. Yeah, right when you were saying the world's supposed to end. So
April 3rd, April 4th. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Well, and that's when it should rally. So what's going to cause Bitcoin to rally? Wait, I wouldn't be surprised if you actually find that, well, I mean, I get what I did find interesting, I heard from Boris the other day, which surprised me, was I think that the Allies are actually planning some sort of counterattack. But he wouldn't say exactly what he was alluding to. But he said there's some sort of plan going on in the background. So maybe it comes to a head on that April 4th date. Gods of War. Wonderful. So, yeah, I guess that's interesting how that comes to a head right there. And I guess what I've been sort of counseling people is that there's so much back and forth here. I don't know whether it's a good idea to go and chase this breakout if it does come in. But it'll be good anecdotal information, good market information just to know that, hey, the market stopped going down and starting to W here. So at least we're back in a bullish setting. And actually, I was kind of quizzing you earlier, Nick? I said... are you like gung-ho to buy? And I think you kind of said, well, I kind of want to, feel like it's a bit more bullish of an environment. Is that correct? Did I misquote you?
Yeah, I mean, it's partially just kind of the world macro environment. I'm just a little unsure, and I also just because I haven't finished my taxes yet, so I want to make sure I'm not spending my tax obligation.
There you go. Well,
or investing, risking my tax obligation rather, not spending. But
yeah, well, that's always smart. Yeah. I don't know, Ben. How are you feeling? Are you feeling super? Like I saw you go, like you put on like a couple $100,000 limit orders there the other day. I saw, right?
Yeah, man, pounding the table. Buy Bitcoin.
I'm trying to buy property in Lisbon now since I got frozen out of Hawaii, and I can't get my golf course in Georgia. Now I'm heading off to Portugal.
They've got friendly tax rules.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I was listening to. Somebody sent me. There's actually a crypto for anybody who's crypto watching this and interested. I thought it was kind of cool. Somebody sent me a video by this girl. She's super. What's her name? Crypto Tips, and she lives in Portugal, and this is her local lawyer there. And if I understand correctly, if you spend enough money and you buy certain assets, the Portuguese will look at you and kiss you and hug you and give you citizenship and all that kind of stuff. I don't necessarily want to like relocate to Portugal. I've got Liam here, so I'm probably going to keep my Canadianness, but I wouldn't mind buying some land in there. I mean, there's some really cool places. Check this out. Actually, this isn't the one I was looking at. This one. Somebody sent me this. I mean, gee whiz. Look at the size of that. For only $300,000. Look at it. It's a goddamn chateau. So, what the hell, eh? Go live like European aristocracy for a while. I mean, 300,000. The irony of it all is 300,000 here in Canada wouldn't even get you a 2-bedroom apartment. You couldn't even buy a 2-bedroom apartment with this kind of money. What the hell? What's wrong with this world? How is it so dislocated like this? So obviously, there's probably some bugaboos here, but could you see us having running a little TRI B&B in this place? It could be doable, eh? I could see Nick popping in on his way touring through Europe. I mean, in fact, actually, our next meetup is supposed to be in Europe. I know, and look at that. Wouldn't that be a cool little, have a whole bunch of TRIers hanging out, having breakfast in the morning and do a daily brief out of this place? That'd be so cool. Anyway, So, boy, you can dream. I mean, it's just incredible the differences. I don't know why real estate is so ridiculously overpriced here in BC. But it's pointless buying here. It's just pointless. It's a waste of money. So, anyway, that's here nor there. I'm not quite sure how I got on that tangent. So, the one thing that bothers me about this, like I said, I like the fact that if we could get a nice little breakout through the top here, it will give us market information that, hey, look at that. We're making higher highs and higher lows. That's really important information. We're no longer making lower highs and lower lows. Is that enough for me to pull the trigger, just go and blindly buy that level? Actually, we had a really good illustration of this the other day, but should we just stick with the list? I don't want to be... I shouldn't lecture and shit through this, eh?
I think I'm fine with you finishing this thought for sure.
Okay.
Yep, me too.
All right. So what I wanted to say here was, sometimes you're just damned if you do, damned if you don't. Hi, John Boy. John Boy says, hey, Brian. Because we had a situation recently where, and actually it was interesting to pull the, pick the trade apart from different perspectives. So we had this Luna, and it basically did the same thing. So big honking wide W, and you remember I think it was last week, wasn't this? We talked about this W coming in. I seem to remember. On the show.
Yeah, it was recently.
So that's exactly the same image as the Bitcoin image, isn't it? It's that big wide W there. And this is sort of where I think we are right now on that Bitcoin image. Right there. And I'm worried because why did price and Luna in particular fall here? That was when Vladdy did his thing. And it had really nothing to do with Luna. So... does that mean that just buying this big honkin' W was a bad idea? Well, ironically enough, the market pulled back and never went through these lows. The W was valid. And I thought it was interesting that, lo and behold, 2-to-1 off of that huge W. That was that level. You can see they traded to it. Trade worked. So, could we see the same thing on Bitcoin? I don't see why not. Interesting thing, there's 2.618. So if we, I don't even know what this will equate to. Let's see if we could get 2-to-1 out of this. I doubt it, but maybe. 1.5 to 1. Ugh, that's not really that great of odds. Pretty wide. If anything... and I seem to remember when we said this, you could take this trade, and then what it implied was, gee whiz, you can see there's 2.618 off of the same bottom. Actually, I guess it would have been off of this bottom here. From there up to there. And then there. So there's the 2.618. So the one on Bitcoin... and I guess that makes sense because I bet if we pull that down, it's like 1.5, 1.2. So that was even worse. But that's basically what that trade is there. It's probably not a kind of risk I want to take. It's just not, you're not getting paid enough to justify it. And I think what this means is, gotta let this thing break, and it might be violent. It might not even break out. We have to wait for that breakout to happen. And then I think you gotta go just like the Luna trade. I mean, it's identical. And you don't know what the reason is that's going to knock this thing back down. My hunch is it's going to be on some sort of threat from some U.S. politician that wants to regulate this space. And you got to probably work your order somewhere down in here, which, quite often in these kind of situations, I don't want to quibble and I'll just put the bid at Mountain Man. Because you might find, remember, this is like an Ethereum trade. little while ago where it just comes down, tags that, and then just takes off like a rocket. So you kind of don't want to really get too cute with this. But something like that, I'm going to risk against the low. I got my mountain man level there. And then where does that line 2 to 1 up? So that means I need to get up into that area. That's a little bit more doable, I think.
It's a big fat round number.
What is that, 50 G's?
Yeah, pretty much exactly for where you got it.
Yeah, so, I could see something along those lines, and then you sell half on that 2 to 1, establish that sort of relatively low risk trade because you've got a bunch already booked profit. So what that does is it ends up, if you just move your stop to scratch on the remaining, then you actually make a little bit of money if the thing craps out. And then, kind of like this Luna, if you can get so lucky as to put this trade on down here, there's the 2 to 1. And now really, if you said, okay, fine, I'm going to hop. And really, I would even say use the 3 high-low method. I don't have any sell signals here. This thing just keeps making higher lows and higher highs. So don't be in a hurry to kiss these things goodbye. But if I was using the 3 high-low method, I would go 1 low. 2 lows. Geez, I guess I'd still have to have my stop all the way down here. 3 lows. Right down there. So, right now I'd be, like, I've already booked partial profit there. And now instead of having my stop at scratch on the remaining, actually it's down here, I've got my stop now lower than the 3rd most recent low. And my hunch is you could see a big punch in the nose pullback here. Especially, Bitcoin comes back down to its reload zone. And really, I would do the same thing with this thing if I wasn't in this and I wanted to, interestingly enough. Probably if I was long off of this low right here, I'd probably actually, if we saw a big meltdown here, I would be really shocked. That would really surprise me. Yeah, that big of a move, I might be inclined to go, you know what, just because it's so much profits, maybe I'll put my stop just below that 3rd most recent low. Just down into here. Because it's just, oh man, that would be painful to get stopped out here and know that there are actually people are coming in on the buy side off the original market structure bottom down here. That would suck. You get stopped out here, and then all your buddies are like, hey, I just bought. Oh, I just got out. Oh, fuck me. So I think probably 3 high-low method. It would be tight. It feels as though if we lose these lows in earnest, then she's probably got some troubles. Look left. Oh, boy, we could zip all the way down here. So you might as well lock that in. So that's probably the way I would look at that. So that would mean... on this crazy-ass trade off the low, a little more than 3 to 1. That's not bad. And that's assuming you get stopped. I don't know where the hell this thing stops. It might just keep chugging its way higher here. So, anyway, I'm wondering whether, number one, is Bitcoin trying to do like a Luna and break out here? I don't know whether I really like the idea of chasing the breakout here because, the risk-reward is just a little... lacking. And like I said here, if anything, you see I've driven this high to low trend line. What I think would be kind of cool here would be to let the breakout happen. So, if we're lucky, we get a nice little push up through here, take out this 45,850, which paints those upside targets, fog and bombs, all that stuff. But then let the market try and settle down. And you notice what I've done here. What study is this? Actually, I don't even think I teach this in the course, do I? God, I got so much more material I have to put together. You know what this is? Ben, you ever seen this before?
I will shut up.
I know, Nick, because I know you know the answer. But Ben, have you ever seen this?
That right hand shoulder part.
Yeah, because I've made this up.
Right. Okay. No, I don't know
Oh,
what
okay.
that's referring to exactly.
So, you know what's kind of weird about this crazy world is if you look at, like, say, a maple leaf, technically, you see how this side it goes, you know, in any of these, it doesn't really matter. It's all the same thing, right? But technically, you see how it goes up, down, right? And then we go, hey, that's a head and shoulders pattern, right? And all that kind of shit. The interesting thing is like, let's take this middle one. If you're sort of thinking, okay, this is a fractal, and it goes up, down, up, and we're like right here. Does it not make sense that you could almost kind of like, well, if this is a fractal, then really it should just be like a mirror image of this. Does that make sense? And sure enough, you know, this is basically a mirror image of this. So that's sort of what this idea of market symmetry is that quite often in the market, actually, the market, it replicates itself. And to make things like head and shoulders patterns, you know, you actually have, like here, you can kind of see that, and you can see I have the little funny little lines already on here. But you can kind of see, I mean, it's a little bit hard because there's a lot written on here. But you can kind of see how this sort of looks like a shoulder. That kind of looks like a head down there. So then maybe if this is a big old fractal maple leaf, well, this is going to look kind of like this. It's weird how this works. I mean, it's really weird. So you just come over here to the bar pattern little tool. And it doesn't really matter, right? If this is the head and shoulders, then maybe we'll start like right here. And then we'll just go back, you know, and if this is the shoulder, and that's sort of like the full pattern. And then all we do is just come in here and flip it around. Boom. So now it's like basically it's not a mirror image, it's just completely flipped around. And in essence, if this was that big sort of head and shoulders, it would sort of look like that, eh? So you got shoulder, shoulder. And of course, this would imply a big breakout up top here. So what I often see is that, you know, like on a move like this, if I'm thinking that this is a head and shoulders, I'll just sort of replicate this price action. And then I'll just plunk it over here and I'll just say, okay, well, you know, if this does look like head and shoulders, a maple leaf at the end of the day, maybe it's going to look something like this. We flip it around and you get this interesting roadmap. And it's cool how you can kind of see what kind of chart pattern. I'll let you answer this next. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so rude to you there earlier. What kind of chart pattern trade setup, if you will, would be sort of like, there's the top of the range, there's the bottom end of the range. Then I'm going to draw like 33%, but not 66. Let's flip that around.
I mean, the fact that you went to the bot setup template
kind of gives you the answer, right? So that made it easy. That was a total layup for you. You could have gone El Tangonator. That, you know who would say El Tangonator? Shane. Shane would go, oh, that's El Tangonator. I don't know whether you ever met Shane. He used to always do stuff like that just to piss me off. Okay, so there's the bot. There's the level. So 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows, 4 lows. You give you lots of opportunity to front run this thing to get in, and that wants to take you up to, interesting, that wants to take you up to 4669, all the way up there. So, well, keep our eyes peeled. We'll see how this develops. If this is indeed a consolidation and we're breaking higher, then interestingly enough, actually this should be a good level 1 quiz question. Let's see if you guys get this. I don't know whether you will or not, but hopefully you will. If this is a head and shoulders pattern, and this is the neckline, and we're going to break out through the top here, what measurement should I take off of this low here, this level here, to give me my objective off of the neckline? Anyone?
You got it, Ben?
Is it 200%?
Excellent. Good job. So that's the whole point of the parking garage. Is usually if this is a head and shoulders, then the objective is all the way up here. Which I kind of like because we also have this extension. There's a big parking garage level up there. So that's 2 parking garages. And actually, if this thing does break out through the top here, my expectation would be that that's a Foggenbaum bottom. And the objective should be 2.618 above top there. So, also, too, this is really cool. Check this out. Notice how we bottomed here. Rallied, came back, and this market structure trend line, of course, was confirmed on the break above here. And then notice what just happened right after that W confirmed. Price dumped. But notice when price sort of settled down and then turned around and broke back out through the top, where did it go? It actually just traveled right along this trend line there. See that? Chunk, hit it, backed away, hit it, backed away, got above it, back, way above it, back, under, hit it. And that trend line was respected. Notice, same sort of thing. If we go and W here and break out, we're probably going to see that pullback. That's what I think all this is. Maybe. We'll see. And then if we can turn around and head back up, my hunch is that actually we do, just like, and I had another arrow on here a few minutes ago. I guess I took it off. But you can kind of see that in a weird sort of way, this is almost like geometric progression. Be interesting, Nick. I think you're into this kind of stuff. So it would be really interesting if there was some sort of scalability to this study. I think there is. Because notice off of this range and this double bottom, if we do the Foggenbaum off of this breakout here, notice that that's where the market went to. Boom, 2.618. So if we do the same thing, breakout through this W, it's bigger. It's just like one geometric progression, or maybe it's 2 or 3, who knows. Bigger, well, there's the 2.618. And then there is that original trend line. Isn't that interesting? I don't know. I mean, maybe I've been playing this game so long I see stuff. But to me, that's quite compelling. The fact that we broke it through this W when you measured it, 2.618 hit, and it stalled out there. And if we break out through this W, my hunch is 2.618. It'll go a little bit beyond, come up, play with the trend line, but basically that's probably where we should look for it to stall out.
So that is, you heard it here first, folks. Bitcoin all-time high in 2 weeks.
Well, no, not quite.
Well, I mean, it's right there. It's right
there, but it's not.
69,000. Yeah.
You see, and I think that's exactly why that chaos level is exactly there. Because in essence, this will do exactly what we're doing right now. Notice we did not break out here. All we did was rally right back up into like 88.6s. So what's the odds that this 64,000 is an 88.6 off of this range? I'd say probably pretty good. I mean, it's kind of, I don't usually come out and make these kind of bold statements. So you're right, Nick. I don't usually do. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's crazy.
It's a whole $400 off, 0.5%.
That's kind of spooky, eh?
Yeah. It is.
So it's sort of like this pattern here is just replicating on itself on a bigger scale here. So anyway, I mean, long and short of it, we should all be happy at 65 G's on Bitcoin.
See, I was going to take the opposite view, because if you zoom out, that's a perfect head and shoulders from the April high and then the November high.
Well, and then that's getting back to this original conversation, because that's kind of what I think is going on here.
Yeah, because that would look at that. That's 64,895. I think the
Yeah.
88.6 there was 64,900. So it's
Yeah.
right
So
there.
basically, all it's saying is we're just going to go back and tag that high up there.
Yeah.
And carve out a very nice symmetrical top here. That wouldn't surprise me. You know, the one thing you have to be concerned about is if Bitcoin does enjoy a really nice rally here, considering the year and also really the time of year as well. What did we call this rally window? The last cycle top. Do you remember that? No?
I don't think so. Something
like,
about the Ides of March?
No. It was weird. It was like it was the exit pumps. I don't know whether you ever heard that expression before. Ben,
Yeah.
were you in crypto back in 1718?
Yep.
I don't know whether you do. You remember those exit pumps? There was like it was like the final sort of exhaustive rally in altcoins in the beginning of 2018. And, you know, clowns like me were going, oh, yeah, go and just throw your nanny nibbles in at the bottom end of the range. But it turns out a lot of the influencers and stuff were using those last gasp rallies to exit out of everything.
Yeah, I was listening to too many influencers back then, I think.
Yeah.
Should have been onto your channel.
Should be what?
I should have been on your channel.
Oh, well, you know, the funny thing is I don't really like calling tops and bottoms in markets. That's not really my style. So I went and accumulated a whole shitload of crypto, and it all went to fucking ridiculous levels. And I sold halves on doubles and had lots of cash around, and I was like, oh, I don't care. I said I was going to make 100 G's. I made 100 G's. I don't really care what happens afterward. And that's a bit laissez-faire of me. It's not the best. You know, you guys want guys to say, buy now, sell now, you make tons of money. And I'm not really like that, so I don't know. I don't think I'm not really the guy to be listening to time the market. If anything, what I like to do is I like to watch the market and then react to what happens. That's sort of how I am. So anyway, thank you for the compliment, though. I think you were trying to compliment me there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got myself into a lot of trouble back then.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. If you don't know what you're doing, God, you can just lose so much money so easily in this game, eh? Oh, it's embarrassing. I feel really sad for new people coming to the market. I think a lot of people that got sucked into the Wall Street bets and all that kind of stuff, I think they're really feeling a lot of pain and actually a lot of resentment and bitterness about the stock market now. And I think, you know, the whole populace was given all those stimmy checks and all that. And we used to joke that, well, probably the market now is going to suck them into just literally giving them all that money right back to the 1%. And I think that's exactly what's happening in the stock market right now. So sad. And also crypto to a certain degree. Sorry. But some of these... Oh, and you know, I always like to ask. I think we should probably... This is probably a perfect segue. Is Danny out of the penalty box yet?
I don't think so. I don't know. He's been keeping a really low profile. I think he lost his texting rights. His parents took away the phone.
Okay. That's probably a good thing. And then if he can come out with a nice project, I don't know if it takes him maybe a year or two. That's not a bad thing. You know,
yeah, so. I mean, I still really like some of his projects.
Yeah.
Like Spell and Ice, I think are really good projects. It's just
Good.
they have really bad sentiment right now.
Yeah.
Or at least the community still feels pretty burnt. So it'll just take a while to turn around.
Yeah, and the irony of it all is actually the longer the channel, the bigger the run, right? So if anything, you know, the way I would look at it with a guy like that is he's smart as fuck. So don't discount him. He will be back, no doubt about it. Does he need the full developer cycle? I don't know whether do either of you guys remember Alex Stirk? He was a principal at Ubic. Does that ring a bell at all, Ben? Do you remember him?
Only through your conversations, I remember you I think you might have even done a show together with him
Yeah, we used to
one
do a
time.
show on
Yeah.
Coinigy years ago.
Right.
Jeez, can
Okay.
you even say years ago in crypto? That's freaky, eh? But in years ago, we did a show together, and at the top of the market, he'd always go, "Oh, we need a developer cycle. We need a developer cycle." So that's, I think, what Danny needs. He needs a developer cycle. But I think it's not a good idea to bet against a guy like that in the long run. He's a fighter. So the question is, he's just got to get out of the penalty box and just get back into just doing his programming shit. And quit with the god status and all that. That just gets you in trouble. All right. Okay, so where should we begin tonight, gentlemen? You tell me. Where should we take this train?
Whatever's next on the spreadsheet, which I
There you
didn't
go.
look at before this. Cosmos.
Hey, wow,
let's
just
talk
what a
some
coincidence. What's the symbol of this thing?
Atom.
Oh, this is the one he appears on the top 10 list every once in a while, eh?
Yeah, it hasn't been on in a week or two, maybe, but yeah, earlier this year it was on for. I think it was all 5 of them for a little bit.
Well, that's a good part about Sjord is he covers every single crypto market there possibly could be.
Yeah.
So you can see how many atoms are. If atom is bullish, and it might dominate the whole damn thing. We still have to sort of figure out how we're going to manage that. But anyway. Okay, so where should we look at this thing? Binance? You like Binance, don't you?
Yeah, Binance usually has a good amount of history.
It's interesting how Binance has basically skirted a lot of the sort of regulatory scrutiny and stuff of late, eh?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Because, in years gone by, BitMEX and Arthur Hayes, he had a fun challenge with regulators, if I'm not mistaken. Something happened that was different, though, this time. I think it's probably the advent of DeFi. These these exchanges actually appear to me that the Big Brother actually likes the exchanges now, believe it or not. I don't know. That's the impression I get.
Well, the exchanges generally are pretty regulated
Yeah.
nowadays. So as an on and off ramp, yeah, like did you see in like some of those Canadian Bitcoins that got found on the Coinbase exchange?
There's Canadian Bitcoins got found on the.
Well,
Say that again.
so some of the funds that were sent to the truckers in Canada made their way to a US Coinbase exchange account or something to that effect, and so they were pretty happy that they were able to track it to a regulated exchange.
Oh, the government was happy that they were able to see it.
Right, because as an on and off ramp, once it's there, it's
Yeah.
pretty much in their hands, right?
See,
I'll tell you, now is not a time to be a proud Canadian when it comes to government intervention and freedom of movement for citizens. Very disappointed in this country, and it's interesting. You guys have heard me say that the commodity cycle ended in end of 2017, beginning of 2018, eh? And all 3 of those major world commodity countries, what did I tell you they are? Are they a buy or are they a sell?
They are a sell.
How's it going in Australia? How are they doing these days? Is that a fun place to be?
I don't know. I'm on the opposite side of the planet.
Well, you haven't seen. Do you know Johnny Salmon on the site? He's like a Australian expat. Fuck, it took him like 6 months to get out of the country. Like literally, it's like fucking some sort of martial law world down there. So, somebody made a funny joke about my birthday on BTC. But so Australia, all right. There's another one of those commodity countries. I think it starts with the letter R. How's that going these days there?
I don't know. They're pretty happy with oil currently, but
I don't know. I saw an
Maybe not
article
currently,
somewhere.
a week
I
ago.
saw an article somewhere that a Russian oil guy, he couldn't even catch a bid. Nobody would bid for his oil. He couldn't even get a price. So, the price of oil might be $100 a barrel in the open free market. I suppose he could go to the black market and, maybe sell it for like 50, 60 bucks a barrel or something. But he was saying that in the open marketplace, because it's Russian oil, doesn't even get a bid. And that surprised me. So, needless to say, that commodity country, and how's its currency doing? Oh, God. So, and then last but not least, good old Canada, commodity country, commodity, how's it going in there? And we got a fucking little self-appointed despot. And the irony of this guy is that he doesn't even have a majority government. He has a minority government in a parliamentary system, which technically means he does not have a mandate. And he could get turfed out of office any day. It's just the opposition can't come together and kick them out of office. But it's stunning how the guy's actually acting like he's some sort of dictator. And, like the actual... He could... Oh, God. He actually did something in the marketplace today that even caught your U.S. politicians. Talking to Mr. Powell today. Chair Powell! Sorry. My Tourette's. This politician actually said to Chair Powell, well, we don't want to have happen what just happened in Canada now, do we? And everybody all went, no, we don't want that. Holy shit, that's the plague. I couldn't believe it. Way to go, Canada! You're world leader in totalitarianism! Woo! Oh, Jesus. Oh, what a world. Anyway, I think I've told you guys before. They've already issued the train ticket for my ride to the concentration camp, eh? So I don't know when it comes. I think they're going to deliver it by courier next week. So it's awfully nice knowing you guys. All right, that sure was a mouthful. Sorry, everybody. Anyway, point is, commodity countries, do not invest in commodity countries for like the next 15 years. They're just a losing proposition. All right. What am I looking at here?
You're looking at Adam.
Yeah. I think trend continuation, so that's encouraging. This is a huge trading range, though, eh? Man, this thing sure likes to jump around here. I thought you said that this thing's like it's the backbone of a lot of networks, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean Luna is built on the IBC. Osmosis is one big like Dex that's built on it, but Thorchain, Secret, Crypto.com. There's a lot of them that are built on the Cosmos kind of ecosystem.
Yeah. So I don't fancy this thing's going to go away anytime soon. I guess the way I would look at this is, are you momentum trading or are you value investing? So unfortunately, we all know the value investors, especially when it comes to things like crypto, you probably want to start at reload zones, and really the magic purchasing area I found working in this space is down in that 78.6 to 88.6 range. And if you don't listen to me, listen to guys like Simon Dixon. He's the founder of Bank to the Future. Pretty knowledgeable guy in the crypto space. And I think that's his opening line of all his videos is, just measure whatever the range is in your desirable asset that you wanted to buy, and then just wait for a 70 to 80% correction, and then start buying. So problem here, though, is we're nowhere near those kind of levels. So you're not value investing here, folks. I'm sorry. I know that sucks.
Question for you. With the bot, because it popped above that 50% level, do you have to reset your 3 lows there?
Yeah. I think that so that's that's the thing that caught me when I went, holy but Jesus, look at the size of that range.
Yeah.
It's messier than then yuck is what it is. What I often see, and I think I would have to agree with you. Just looking at this chart though, I think if anything, it's almost like that's the bigger, higher time frame sort of picture. Maybe like thinking like Bitcoin going up and testing the highs. Probably in the near term, we're trapped in this sort of, probably even that low there, right? So that range to that range there is pretty much defined our universe here. But I do like the fact that there's that nice little tight little W, and it came down here and it tested again. So kind of sucky, because if you had said, okay, well, there's that double bottom, and then I put in another low, and then there's an empire, so I'm going to buy the bot level. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 lows to work with. Goes zipping up to the 50% rule, which, the 50% rule often does align with the old highs. And the irony of it all is I looked at this and I see the brick wall that it ran into and the failure. And if it comes back down to that 25 level, well, you got to walk away. Stop at scratch, walk away. And I would say that if we did come back down into here, this is transition from a rip-roaring bull into a trading range. So, it's not... You would have liked to have seen these highs taken out. The fact that the highs were not taken out is a little disturbing. Also, too, probably a really good analogy. There's probably a lot of people that drew this trend line. Price gets up into there. Are we allowed to buy that level up there? No, probably shouldn't. A really good example. You can see where it just kept playing with it, and then finally it was rejected off of it. This little W here has probably got some validity to it. Boom, boom, like that. So I guess maybe the way I might even interpret this is you might get like a Wyckoff check of this original W here. Sort of down in this area. Also notice there's a little bit of a hole in the profile there. So probably to take this bot again, I think you're right, Nick. I would prefer to sort of say, okay, well, we've got a pretty good looking floor here. I think let's go with one low. Then let's maybe have it come down. We'll make a second low. And then if we can maybe W out here and make a third low, okay, well, we could maybe take another shot at it. Maybe even say something like, give me a nice W on the other side of that trend line. So that might even be a bit hasty. Maybe something like that might be more appropriate. Maybe something like that. So... yeah, I think it's going to take a bit of work. Also, too, wicks and tails like to be eaten, so that tail looks rather juicy. Probably, if you wanted to, like, really sharpshoot this, I like the idea of taking a shot down in here, this area. So if you kind of go, like, I'm going to draw a trend line off of that low to that low, so, yeah, it's down in that area. And then, hopefully, hope. Well, actually that wasn't bad. We zipped. Fact, this looks a little bit megaphony. It's a little dangerous. What I see is it looks like it goes like there to there, and then there to there. I don't know whether it would be there to there or not. Yeah, so probably you want to see a serious test of this tail here. And just see whether the market can hold these lows. One thing that bothers me is we had this big jump up. Because like we had sort of said earlier, everything was just wickedly oversold here. So we've got the pop-up. You can almost kind of see it in your Atom chart, eh? How price has kind of moved up in that kind of boom, 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 boom. So you can see boom, 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 boom. Right, if we go down to, like, say, a 4-hour or 2-hour or something. Yeah, so you can see it goes A, B. Something like that. All right. CD. So maybe a little bit higher. And the thing is what do you think the odds are we're getting like divergences start to build up in here? Yeah. So we're pushing to new highs, but notice MACD is not going to new highs. That's a little disturbing. Also, volume is not going to new highs either. So Willie's not stupid yet. Usually really cool trades set up where Willie just sort of flat lines out, kind of like that, then starts to break down. So with Willie still being right there, still got some room to move up here. So, maybe something along the lines like that down the road. Yeah, so that's 1, 2. If this actually is a top, there should be a pullback and then a third test of this high. And then on that third test and failure, that actually is a trade. So I would say that maybe we get this little pop-up here. Then you get the breakdown. That actually confirms the MACD div. So MACD goes into divergence here. This breaks here. The MACD is confirmed. The div is confirmed. It's now in. Then you get your counter trend rally, and it might even create like a, what we on this site like to call a double divergence or double Ds. And sometimes if you're really lucky, let's see if we can see one here. Yeah, like here. I don't know whether you can see this. This is so awesome. This is like total pro using MACD. Where'd it go? There it is. So you have MACD breaking down, lower highs and lower lows. You have the price rolling over. And then notice how MACD comes right back to the 0 line. Basically, this is the difference between the MACD study and the 9-period EMA. So think of this as, and actually you could probably even see it on here. No, that's not what I want. Is this, am I wasting time? Should I move on?
No, go ahead.
All right. I just get so distracted, right? So, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping for. So this is what they call a MACD kiss. So the market's working down hard. It's trending hard. And you can see it's making lower highs and lower lows. It broke a significant market structure low here, right there. And the thing is, you don't want to take that trade, right? Because the market's dumping, it's oversold. So here you can see MACD's already trending lower, making lower highs and lower lows. Then the MACD comes up, and the counter trend rally is just nothing more than a kiss of the 0 line. And then on this failure, can you see that? Look how price just collapses straight down. That's a cool illustration of that concept. So you're looking for the MACD already be trending down, and you're looking for that counter trend rally that comes back and kisses the 0 line, and then we roll back over. Like Kiran, he would call this his curl. You ever hear? Do you remember when Kiran would talk about price curling underneath a market structure level? That's
yeah.
Sort of what that is. And you could even frame the trade by let's see if Ben knows this. What 3-bar chart pattern is this called? There, and there. Those 3 bars. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room so we can do it all night. We can make it feel right. Sorry. Any idea, Ben?
To the Empire?
Hey, very good. And actually, this is a really cool setup because are we supposed to take a trade on a break of a trend line? No. But can you take a trade on the resolution, the bearish resolution of a trend line break following? Can you see how this made a low here? Beep, there's the Empire top. The next candle, beep, it opened up. It actually went up and it kissed the trend line from the other side. And then literally you can place a sell on stop 1 tick below that low. And you see, market rolls over, it kisses the moving average on the MACD, kisses the 0 line. Empire, so here you have indicator confirmation, And you have price structure. Right? Is this a half decent trade location? I'll leave that up to you. It's a trend line break, so technically it is. And this is your market structure, just this little window right here, right off of the empire. Just down, up, down, fail. I don't know. Can you see that? How about you people on YouTube? You serious? Nobody on fucking YouTube is going to teach you that setup. It's just not going to exist. You will not find that anywhere. What I just did there for all of you people for free. Nobody ever does that. Ever. I've never seen anybody do that. All right, Brian. Calm down, Brian. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. But do you understand what I just did there, Ben? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely way too sharpshooter for me, but I definitely get the concept. And if you were to drill down into like a lower time frame, would that look like an M on the other side of the trend line?
Yeah, well, whatever this is, and that's what I kind of wanted to highlight this. So let's see what price looked like down there. All right, so we'll say just right in here. Let's go down to like, say, a 30-minute chart. Did I tell you some guy wants us to have 1 million viewers of these videos? I don't know whether I said that online or not.
Yeah, I think you did.
All right.
And I think I know who it is, too.
I know. I think he's a really, really nice guy. Don't get me wrong. So, all right, so there is the play. So there's your trend line break. This is now off a 30-minute chart. Look at that div. Can you boys see that? I mean, this is why I love. And remember, that's that underside kiss and failure off the higher time frame. But hopefully you guys can see this. I mean, wow, what a divergence. Can you see that? So, and actually it's interesting. There's a name for this type of consolidation. This is a Forex concept. There's actually a specific name for this, like the markup process, where it goes and it literally, because like you might look at this and go, hey, those are W's, man, they should buy. But this is actually a trap, the way that they set this up. And then you can see the MACD just in massive divergence here. This is a major, major trap. So there was our trend line. There's the break. And here, I mean, it's kind of hard to see. Can you see we went down, up, kind of floundered, and then failed, right? And I think our empire signal fired there, right? Does that make sense, Ben?
Yep.
Right there. So let's go back to that. What was it? Was it a daily chart? I think it was.
I think it was a 2-hour.
2 hour?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry. Oh, now I'm lost. I put those little boxes on there. That's the only way I can remember this. I think, is it right there? Yeah. Okay, so 2 hour. Oh, yeah, because it was the underside kiss failure. I mean, I love, this is a cool pattern where you have that trend line. You're not allowed to take the trade at the trend line, but any kind of consolidation following the trend line break and a failure, that's basically bearish market structure go. And you got this killer. What's interesting is off that lower time frame, you saw the momentum divergence right into that. So anyway, I don't know, maybe that wasn't a very good example. It's weird. I've been doing this game so long. To me, I go, oh, wow, look at that. But maybe you guys don't see it, so I don't know. Okay. Wade says, I wanted to ask the exact same question, Ben. Drilling down the time. Thanks. All right, cool. Yeah, well, there's not that many people watching, Rockers, so we're not going to get that many like buttons. But what the hell, all 23 of you, if you could hit the like button, we'd love you for it. Mind you, people do watch this afterwards. So if you're watching afterward, you want to hit the like button, Ben will give you a big hug and a kiss, right? Won't you, Ben? You're a sweetheart.
Absolutely.
Oh. He said that without trepidation. Absolutely.
So, I mean, this probably has nothing to do with where this stopped. But if you do pull a foggy from just off the top of the empire to that left bar, It
Oh.
stopped right at the 4669.
Yeah, isn't that foggy too? And you guys are actually pretty lucky because I just sort of stumbled upon that. I mean, keep in mind, I used to know a guy back, well, not know a guy, but I knew of chaos theory and I knew the trading, and I remember reading the stories and I knew the guy. He was the guy who founded Interactive Brokers, a Dutch guy, and he would never sort of reveal what the secret sauce was. But man, I've known about chaos theory forever, and so I mean, it's just so awesome that now actually I know it and we can use it and try and teach other people it and not be so fucking like if that interactive brokers guy had done half of the work that I'm doing here with these people, man, just imagine where the world could be. I don't know why these guys who know this stuff are such jerks. They just hoard the information. Okay, so what time frame was that you were looking at?
It wasn't even an M. All I did was I took on that 2-hour time frame. I took the high of that middle candle of the empire to the low of the left candle of the empire.
Okay. So this was the empire here, right?
Yeah, so it'd be essentially
basically that. So
it was either that or the low to the right of it. I'm not sure.
Anyway, so if just looking at this, I would go this little one right there, and if I was doing like the day trader charts and stuff, so what does that give us?
Yeah, I think I did the one to the the left half, the next part of the M, not the right half of the M. Yeah. So yeah, right from there to that next left
down to here.
I think I did the intermediate one on the. Where you drew it in the very middle. There's another kind of local low.
So oh, you mean? Oh, actually, look at that. That would be it there. This one candle, I think. So let's see what that is. That one candle, right there. Let's see what that gives us. Well, anyway, it does give you good sort of yardsticks to shoot for. And you were going off of that funny 2-hour chart?
It's okay. We can keep moving. I'm delaying us now, I feel.
Yeah, I know, but I'm so anal about this. So I'll sit here at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about this if I don't do it now. So you're saying just off of the candle itself or the whole thing?
That second one, but down, yeah. What you just kind of drew, the top of the middle red candle to the bottom of the green candle.
Here you go, that one there.
Yeah,
and
that kind of popped right at the 4669.
Yeah.
Not that really means anything because it's not an M per se.
But see, the thing is, and this might be part of the learning function, is maybe this M is that. It's just that this is a sloppy M. Is this a valid study? It might be. I mean, the most important thing I've found about trading is, does price itself respect these studies? And if you find that, gee whiz, it looks like price sure went chaotic here, and then you see that, then you
it came
start
right
seeing
back
the thing
up to
move down.
2618.
You know, what happens? You see, we have this M here. What happens if I draw a foggy boggy here and the level lines up with that 877? Then I start getting things like confluence, eh? So I would do something like that, and really, is this same logic here? So there to there. This is what I like to do with these charts. Is I just like to ask questions. So notice this study here and this study here. They're both saying, well, it looks like price wants to get down into this area. And look at that, eh? So what's right, what's wrong? I think it's sort of just like, you just got to listen to the message of the market. Anyway, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what's our current prognostication? Are we bullish or bearish? Looks to me like this thing wants to point a little bit higher here. Don't like how this potential div is forming here, though. That's kind of bothersome. Can't really buy this, and if this was a bot, then what I'd really want to see is, for this, well, and it already broke out to new highs. If anything, we're probably near the target. My hunch is there probably was, a long setup here to go with the trend. The signal wouldn't have come in till way up there, so that's kind of ugly. But something like there to there. Don't know whether this would have even set up or not. And there to there. And it's so funny when you see that happen. And you literally see how the W came in right off the bot level there. It would have meant, though, you would have had to buy right in the face of that trend line, and I don't really like doing that. But still, actually, you might have even said, well, you know, there's your trend line there, Brian, up there. So, interesting. Yeah. So I think if you wanted to be long, the place I'd want to be long is this 28.51. Looking for, and in this case, you see move stop to scratch. Move stop to trailing, 3 high low. Geez, you got to go all the way back to. You'd still have to have your stop at scratch, and notice just grinding. Then, you know, I see another breakout higher here, there to there. So boom, this almost looks exactly like this original one. So there to there. Notice the breakout, kind of like what we were seeing with the Empire. You get the breakout of the trend line, then there's cute little tight consolidation, and just go. If it breaks to new highs here, just go with it. I don't really like those kind of trades because I think they produce really weak risk-reward ratios, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do. So same sort of thing. It looks like it happened again. Big trend line breakout, consolidation inside bar. This is a really good example. You know, if you're trading away and you're like, okay, so is this thing going to break? Is it going to continue? We got the breakout through the trend line. Give me some sort of market structure, any kind of market structure to get long. Well, I mean, you could say that this is like a bull-bear battle line right there and right there. If we go through this line right there, then that's an inside bar failure. It's not really a pretty bar. It's not even harami. It's just it's like a bear rami. But baby's head's almost completely outside of mummy's body, so very ugly. What did happen here is the market broke out through the highs, and notice we're just grinding our way higher here. So I think the trend is higher here. Couldn't touch it, and really the target should be up here. If you did take this double bottom breakout, you know, beautiful example of just grinding, but not really a hell of a lot happening. Now we're back into bull mode. Ironically enough, you know, 3 high low method, maybe that you could call that a low because that's got a pretty deep pullback and then rally to new highs. You might use that. That's a bit aggressive, but geez, I guess I'd have to say I'm still sort of thinking something like down in here. So pretty close to scratch still. So it's just not much market structure. You would have preferred to see higher lows and higher highs so you could move stops. Like this just is, this is, you know what, actually we could probably even do it. This is what this is. We go boom, boom, and yeah, boom. So this is a channel. You can see how it obeyed the channel pretty well. Then, oh, I don't want to be in that channel anymore. So I think that's what happened there. All right, can I buy that there? No. Do I want to sell that there? You know, if you were able to come in off the bottom. Well, I mean, look at that. It's pretty good looking reload zone off of these lows. That would have been ballsy, but you can see the original double bottom there. There it is. Triple bottom, too. So, you know, maybe there's a divergence on this move against this horizontal support and resistance line. Looks like there was a really cool fight down against this trend line here. Look at that, eh? Talk about a war. Down, up, down. What's going to happen? There's another one of those inside bars, eh? So you can see this was a bull-bear battle line. So if we had gone through this low, then that would have been a sell signal. If we go through the Harami's high, this isn't a Harami though, we'd call this a bull rami. If you go through that high, that's a buy signal. And up she goes. So it's really cool when you can find these little bull bear battle lines. Just this sort of little lines. It's almost like, our premise is we teach that everything moves in triangles, right? And so we triangle, 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 triangle. And really all this is the inside bars resolution of that triangle. And usually the triangles resolve about 2/3 the apex. So that looks about 2/3 the apex. Well, a whole bunch of rhetoric. I'm kind of trying to sprinkle in some fun little concepts that you can go, hey, well, that's kind of cool. I never saw that. Oh, that's kind of cool. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. But there's not really much I could do on something like this right now.
And Cosmos is one that I feel like it doesn't have a lot of fundamental value to the token. The ecosystem itself, I think, is usually where I look. If it looks like Cosmos's token is going to not be bearish, then I look at the ecosystem plays and look for bullish ecosystem plays.
So with Luna bringing new development projects online, would that influence the demand for this thing?
No. Cosmos doesn't have great tokenomics right now, the actual token. And so I do own a tiny bit of it, but it's mainly I just have like a long-term staking position that I don't even look at. I'll come back to it in 4 or 5 years. But I don't own a ton of Cosmos. I like a lot of the projects in the ecosystem though.
Okay.
One thing Traven did say too, like this is probably half an hour ago, but I think it's very relevant. He said that Cosmos is going to be EVM compatible within the week, and what that means is one of the reasons a lot of people haven't built on Cosmos is it's really difficult to build on Cosmos. You can't just build something like you do on Ethereum with Solidity and port it over to one of the other blockchains that are what are called EVMs, Ethereum virtual machines. It's a completely different architected blockchain. But there is a project called, I don't know how to say it, it's EVMOS. I've been calling it EVMOS, but it's an EVM protocol on Cosmos. So essentially, it'll make it a lot easier to develop on Cosmos. And so this thing is coming out very soon. And so that is, I think, a huge, huge fundamental step for the Cosmos ecosystem. It doesn't necessarily mean the Cosmos token is going to do anything, but I think it's incredibly good news for the ecosystem.
So, what language is all this stuff written in?
Most of the Ethereum code is in Solidity.
Is that like C+ or something? Or is that like Python?
It's its own language. So I don't know Solidity, but when I look at the code, it looks like a C#-ish object-oriented language. I don't know how accurate that is. It's just based off of what it looks like to me.
Okay. I was just curious. All right, Ben, what's your take on this? You like this story, or are you going to pass?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely there's a lot of stuff, really cool stuff happening on it. But I thought maybe I could just pick Nick's brain for a second. So with the tokenomics of Cosmos, as I understand, the circulating supply is like a function of how many coins are staked, and each year it kind of inflates. Is that correct?
I don't know how the circulating supply is calculated for Cosmos, or if it is related to what's staked. But I mean, you do get rewards for staking because you're essentially validating and securing the network. And so there are rewards. So the more that's staked, the more presumably would be rewarded. But right. I don't know what the actual distribution of it is.
Okay, yeah, I guess because the one thing I was wondering that maybe I can do a little bit more research is what happens if maybe like 1 year the amount of stake tokens goes down. Do they have a token burn to reduce the circulating supply or something to that effect? Or I guess it's all redistributed to holders, so that might not be possible. But
yeah, it does not sound like in my head, I wouldn't think that's what would happen.
Yeah,
but I can't say either way.
Okay, cool.
286 million coins outstanding. It's actually not bad, considering some are in the billions, right?
Yeah,
286 million at $32 a piece, though. Wow, that's a bit of money, eh?
I mean, that's only about twice the circulating supply of Ethereum.
Yeah. Really? Oh, man. God, I remember when Ethereum was at around 80, 90,000 million. So,
Yeah, it's at like 120 or so right now.
oh, is it really? Oh. Okay, well, we spent about an hour on that guy. I don't know whether we came to any grand conclusions, but it sure was fun. What do you think, guys? Are we going to buy? Are we going to sell? Or are we going to just leave it alone?
Like I said, I've got my really small little old lady position that's staking that I'll come back to in 5 years. So
Okay. What happened to the spreadsheet? I thought we had the spreadsheet up here. What the hell is
And I'll be keeping an eye on coins within the ecosystem. Thanks, Nick.
attaboy.
All right. Here we are. Okay. All right. So we got one done tonight. That's good. Oh, and I don't even know the right damn link.
Naturally, with it being Cosmos, I was just going to let you talk forever on this one.
Oh, you're sure. Okay, let me just throw that on there. Who's next? Chain Link. This was one that Crypto Chico guy, he used to really like this one, eh? Chain Link.
Yeah, this is it is. It absolutely is. This is another one that I feel like has no I don't know why it has any intrinsic value whatsoever.
That's a bold statement.
Well, the token does, as far as I know, doesn't have any value. This almost seemed that view almost seemed like it was one of those curls that Kieran talked about.
I looked at that went, uh-oh, that doesn't look good. We're going to get out of that chart. No, we don't want to look at that. We don't want to look at that. Hey, let's look at this. Yeah, that's better.
I think Chainlink's actually like number 5 on the crypto list on the site right now.
Yeah, well, Willie is above the midline. RSI is, oh no, RSI is at, what does that say, 46? Well, no, so that's not really. MACD's positive. The moving average bullish? Let's see what we got here. Nope, well, moving average,
although
V is negative. I don't know, man. It's really, we got a pretty good rating on this thing.
It may have been a tiny bit like earlier in the day or something when, but I thought it was number 5 on one of the.
There it is. Link.
Yeah.
6666. Ooh, the number of the beast. Let's see what we got here. My hunch is the moving average. Yeah, moving averages are still positive on the DI. I don't like these kind of things. Man, this thing can be all over the map here. There's no real edge there with that tool right now. So I guess we had this big hammer. So the hammer probably marks some sort of technical pivot here. That's that guy right there. Interesting how that was an 8 as well in the Tonda mark. So I think you can make the argument there was a fractal that fired there. Not quite an engulfing bar. This probably wouldn't be something I'd be too interested in. If anything, I don't like when it goes sort of, and actually this looks like a really nice, before I do that, look at this. So there's clearly some sort of major line in the sand right there. I don't know what that is, but oh boy, that's ugly. And it's interesting you said that curl, right? Like Kieran likes to hunt those curls. Like, what would we call this? Actually, we got the man on the show himself. Derek wanted to make an NFT out of this.
Apparently, Ben's not going to answer it.
Oh, sorry. That's a bank object.
Yeah, this is not a bad example. Sorry, I was over on YouTube reading your guys' conversation. So, I mean, you did have the, that's ironically enough, that's like an inverted empire pattern. This is the exact opposite of what we just saw in that other one, eh? So, I mean, it is technically a signal there. It's not really the strongest signal. Wicks and tails do like to be eaten. How long does it take for us to come down and eat that? I don't know. Bearish market structure with a big old head and shoulders, kind of like what we were saying earlier. You can actually do an extension level right off of that to get your target. So there's your target down there. Isn't it interesting how that just missed the target there, eh? So somebody was clearly dumping, and then they just ran out of ammunition. Next trade, traded on the offer, and boom, back up it went. But I would actually be surprised if this 200 level was not traded to. And I think our resident, well, actually, maybe this is a little different. Let's see. Yeah, maybe not. I was thinking maybe this was a megaphone. But if that's the case, I don't know where this starts from. I don't know whether you can start from there or not. But 1, 2, 3, this failure here is actually a sell signal. And boom, right down into these lows. Third, so that actually should be a buy. And I think, not positive on this, but I think we probably, yeah, I'd probably say we want to come back to that level right there. Probably fill in that notch there on the profile. So probably also too, if we did like a fib, that would be like 38.2 to 50%. Collins dump chaser zone. Where's pump chaser? Yeah, so right against that high. Notice that's that 38.2 to 50%. So I guess maybe that might even be 61. Maybe even reload zone.
Yeah, that looks just above the reload zone.
Oh yeah, interesting. So that's actually all the way up in Mountain Man. Well, I mean, the problem here is I hate buying stuff that's in a downtrend. You're just trying to catch a falling knife, and sometimes it's so painful. And I don't like the fact, like, why did this lose these lows here? That should not have happened if this was a bull. I guess you could argue, look at the profile from here, right? You can see it. We used to call this on the site. Actually, I think in the level 2 program, we still call it that. God, man, it's weird. I haven't taught the level 1 or the level 2 program in like years now. So it's, I wonder if I just wonder whether the teachers are still using my funny terminology. But we used to use, whenever we had the profile was empty like this, we would say that it needs some loving. And we would put a nice big heart in there. And we had a guy from South America on this site, and he would always say, oh, that is a muak. And if you know what a muak is, then just use your imagination. Why would we use that term? So I could easily see a counter trend rally here, but is this thing actually trending higher? Ironically enough, I know it's so painful because this because this low was taken out over here. This is actually a valid trend line. So what's our rule about trend lines? And it's weird how you can kind of see that, right? It's going to rally up into here and it's going to go smack-a-rooney right off of that trend line. So can we take a trade at that trend line level? I wouldn't do it. I think you're asking for trouble. And really what this means is, is it trending, right? All that kind of stuff. We're probably going to want to see this thing come over here and then W on the other side of the trend line, and away we go. Is Tyler? I think his name was Tyler, isn't it? The Chico Crypto guy? I think his name was Tyler. Anyway, is he still doing videos? Do you guys see any videos from him anymore?
I don't usually watch a lot of crypto YouTubers.
Oh no, he's a nice guy. I think he does some good work.
No, he's plenty nice. I try not to. I try to come up with my own theses and opinions.
Okay. All right. So long and short of it here. I mean, the good part about this is you're not coming in and buying an overbought market. Actually, looking at this base, looking at good old Ben sitting down here, just waiting with his open orders down at these levels, right at the block. I don't think there's a huge hurry here. There he is. We got to put Ben. I think we're gonna call you. You know what we're gonna call you, Ben? We're gonna call you Bitcoin Ben. There you go. You get the big Bitcoin B. And I actually think it works better for Ben than it does for Brian. So we're gonna call you Bitcoin Ben. So there's Bitcoin Ben sitting down there at the POC. And I suppose if we want to be nice and professional, should be off of that high. There we go. So there's Ben and the Benkoff check. Actually, interesting. See, this is why it's dangerous to take a trade right at this level. Look how they really screwed with the kids here, eh? And then dumped it right back against these lows. You can just, this is so crypto. So crypto. Break it out here. Rah, rah, I'm a bull. Look at me. And they even did it a second guy. Okay, let's just make damn sure we got all the damn kids in here. Right? And then they just rip their hearts out. Jeez, crypto. Jerks. And then, this is what you guys have to learn. Oh, W's at the bottom ends of ranges? Awesome. How can you do that? I don't know. I'm not going to say it's easy. I'll tell you, this Willie indicator, it just keeps you out of a lot of trouble. It would have sort of said, hey, maybe just cool your jets through all this. And then things like, maybe waiting for trendline breaks in RSI. That always works nicely. Julian's a big fan of that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So, holy train wreck, Batman. But I do like the W's down in here. I think you probably could have come up with some reasons to get long down here. You know what this looks like? Yeah, this was that March, the sickness low, right? So everybody freaked out through that. So I might even say, don't blame the crypto jerks that run stops and stuff just to break the kids' hearts. I think the whole damn world went slightly nutty there. So anyway, yeah. Fortunately, I'm gonna have to say, just because it's trending here, it's just you can't touch the damn thing. And there's no bull divs here. I mean, there's a potential one, but that's all it is just potential. Actually, this is a good example. Can you guys see how Sjord's RSI bands are starting to squeeze?
Yeah, still not that small, though.
Yeah. So, actually what I like to see happen is they actually sort of flatten out and they get, really tight, and then it goes bang, right? So, yeah, still probably a bit early here to get too bullish. But maybe that trend line there will hold in that megaphone. Yeah. The problem here is that even just this is a pretty big percentage risk, eh? That's a lot of money. So I can't even justify buying that. Maybe if you want to play this, wait for another tag of this trend, the downtrend line, the megaphone level, and then if you're going to, it would be really cool if you could get a nice W that came in there. That would be sick. So that's sort of what I would be kind of hoping for. So we'll be optimistic, and we will say it's not going to go to any new lows. It's going to come down into reload zones, and it's going to W out, and then if that comes in, all you guys on YouTube are going to go, Brian, look. And then we're all going to go buy the W, and we're all going to get stinking rich. Isn't that how it goes? We all live happily ever after. And then Justin comes along and steals your money! Yay! Brian, you're tempting fate.
No, it's all right. I'm sure you just meant Justin's son.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Wrong guy.
Man, I've seen some funny bastardizations of his name online lately. So it's quite amusing. Anyway.
So, real quick interlude about Ukraine. Did you hear that Ukraine opened up the donation wallets for crypto, and now they are announcing that they're releasing a Ukraine token and airdropping it to everyone who donated.
Fucking A, there you go. Now that's where's fucking Vitalik? Vitalik could probably bring down the Russian government if he really wanted to. That guy's so fucking smart with all the crypto and computer savvy, and like probably the Ethereum network. They could probably really fuck Russia up really badly if they wanted to. So that's the irony of this computer world. Is a guy, I saw that Vitalik got pretty heated there when the whole damn thing started to break out there, right, the other day. So I would imagine that guy could probably single-handedly cause Vladdy a hell of a lot of trouble if he wanted to. Did they say who was backing the Ukraine coin?
No, it's the Ukraine country's Twitter that is saying this. Actual government.
Well, so, but they get are they getting hooking up with Cosmo?
I doubt it. No, I mean it's as far as I'm concerned, it's just a scam to get more donations. I don't think the coin's going to be worth anything, or people are going to pump it up and sell it all. I don't know, but I'm not touching it with a 1,000-foot pole. I just thought it was funny that
it might be Ukraine is Shiba Inu kind of thing, though. It
could be. I don't have any alpha in those situations, so.
Somebody said, that's you typed in. I watch HXR
Hero Labs, the Collins company.
Oh, Chico and Colin, yeah.
Colin's, I do watch some of the Hero
Colin.
Lab stuff.
Colin. I mean, is Colin not like a living angel?
He's a really nice guy.
If there was ever going to be like an actual, mind you, all of you guys, you're all so fucking good people. It's so awesome. But Colin, Colin's the ultimate crypto success story, right? Gym teacher turned crypto millionaire. I mean, what the fuck? How does that not play well? So, and okay. So, and he's still doing his show over there on Hero.
Sometimes they're getting busier with their protocol now, so there aren't as many videos. But I did play a little bit of video games with Colin a couple weekends ago.
Oh, on Hero they've got video games?
No, I mean I was just playing with Colin. But.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, what do you think? Oh, it's 1:45. We still got more time. That's cool.
Yeah, we can get through one more.
Near. What the heck is this?
Just one near, but I know it says it there twice, but.
Did I paste that link chart in there?
I think you did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Near got really popular just in the last few months.
That's not bad.
I'm forgetting the acronym, but there were 4 of them. There was Harmony 1, there was Near, there was Phantom, and one other one. And there was a 4-letter acronym for the 4 of them. But it was right there, kind of in that December, January, when it was peaking. But as far as I know, I think it's its own layer 1. I don't think it's a layer 2 of anything, but it's its own smart contract blockchain, and it's definitely risen through the ranks a bit since we did our first pass.
That's cool. So, would you call this DeFi?
Yeah, I'd call it whatever you call Ethereum or Binance, or probably less Luna, because Luna I feel like is more so only DeFi. Well, I don't want to put it that, but Luna does a lot more DeFi, I feel like, than other stuff. Where I actually don't know a lot of the protocols that are built on Near, so I can't really say how much DeFi it is versus other protocols.
So if I said I'm bullish of Ripple, that's a centralized story?
Yeah, well, and I mean,
Because Ripple's
essentially,
own, the Ripple story is owned by like the Ripple Corporation, right? Don't they have like a controlling interest?
yeah, they do have there are an enormous amount of coins in a very small number of people's pockets.
Yeah. So something like this, you're saying this is more like an Ethereum and a Luna versus something like a Ripple.
Yeah, I would say that.
And is
Much
ADA
smaller though.
centralized?
No, I think ADA's just the same as Ethereum. Well, I don't want to have that taken out of context, but the same type of blockchain, decentralized blockchain.
Okay, any comment from you, Ben, on this near?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know a ton about it, only that it was like a layer one, but just reading a little bit here, saying that I didn't realize, but they use human readable account names, unlike cryptographic wallet addresses. So I think it's a bit more of a user friendly for developers and users. So I thought that's pretty interesting that it's a bit of a new generation, different take on it.
Okay. Because we're making lower highs and lower lows, obviously the simple analysis is cool your jets. Not really very good trade location either. We're only going back into last fall. If we go back and look into last winter, that'd probably be smarter. Interesting how this one actually had a bit of a swoon there last spring, eh? Hit a peak in like March, April, and actually didn't bottom until the middle of July. So, does this thing, I wonder if this thing likes to rally and peak into the winter months here and then take a bit of a pause. It almost looks like it. Excuse me. Big bear divs there in MACD and RSI. Looks like RSI made a new low here. Willie did get briefly stupid. Would rather like to see this sort of like settle down. Notice how like when this is embedded, look how Willie just sort of curls over like that. I don't like, if Willie is actually moving sharply here, then that actually tells me this is too fast. I like it when Willie just sort of rolls over like that. So if it does it too fast, like up, down, or like up, down, then it means we probably still have a lot of volatility to go. Back and forth, back and forth. Kind of like this pattern here, but I do see that it made lower lows here as well. So it's just, it's not a hell of a lot to get excited about here on this thing. I would have like, you see how if this, we were near a bottom here, made lower low in price, but RSI did not make a lower low. So that's kind of like the tell that, hey, we're probably getting near some sort of bottom. Really stupid. Nice little bull div there in the MACD, which actually was confirmed over here. And that looks like an inverted head and shoulders breakout. Away you go. So here now, RSI, like we said, it did make lower lows. It made a cute little div down in here. So that's what this counter trend rally is. It's just a play off of this. Willie did briefly get stupid, so they are relieving that stupidness. And probably off of this range, this is like calling dump chaser zone. Or used to be Ray Burchett. I used to talk about the first stop target in our school program. So if we go like that, that's all of them. So let's go and reverse that. Boosh. 38.2. So, I always like to tell people, it's good learning material here for you. We can't even really decide if this bear market is over yet. Keep in mind, I mean, lower highs and lower lows. That is technically a bear. We did take out this high, so that's good. Like, structurally, we've kind of reversed some damage that was done here. But we can't even really decide whether this bear is finished until we have that level at least tested and then resolved. And ideally, what you'd love to see, of course, is something along those lines, right? And then, woohoo, away we go. So, pretty early. Dead cat, like I would call this a dead cat bounce. What you might find, be interesting to see, is this a inverted head and shoulders off of this level? I do like how this pushed to new lows. Yeah, no, I don't think it's off of that because that looks like it's a push to new lows. And inverted head and shoulders, I think, works best if you have divergence. But notice if we go off of, say, that level for the head and shoulders, well, that low there is much, much lower than that low. So maybe that's our div. There to there. And there to there. Trying to confirm. We'd like to see a move above 533. Right now we've had 529. Oh man, that's close. That's still not in. And what do we call this 3-bar pattern here? Uh-oh. If you're bullish, you don't like to see that. Remember we did that bull-bear battle lines earlier. So we could say a move through this high would have been a trend continuation buy signal. Move through that low is a... What is that pattern? Boom, boom, boom. Uh-oh.
That's an inside bar.
So you can see, and probably if we zoom in on a lower time frame, you see some sort of bearish market structure up there. So let's go see what it looks like. Yeah. So there's your inside bar level. You can actually see off the lower time frames. Wow, look how sharp that double top was up there, right? Boom, 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 fail. So this is sort of the first bar, that big sort of drop, and then this was just a consolidation inside the drop bar, right? And so you can kind of see, if I was going to trade this as a formation, what kind of trade would this be? And of course, I probably just gave you the answer, didn't I? If I go, this is the kind of setup I'm looking for. I don't want to give you the answer, but I want to go into my fib tools and pick the right tool, and I don't know, maybe it's one of these.
Altanganator.
Yeah, there you go. 34%. See, what are you guys? Somebody on YouTube should have said 34%. That would have been perfect. Oh, goodness. Oh, well. You having fun tonight, boys, or am I boring the shit out of you?
Always. Both. Always both.
Always both?
Fun and extremely bored.
Okay.
No, not at all. I was saying, of course, but then you ended with, or are you really bored? And I said, of course. I'm like, well, that's not what I meant to say.
All right. So actually, this is an interesting one because the low's there. So you don't use that as a measuring high. You use that. So 1, 2, 3. What do you think the odds are that the 25 sets up right off of that level? Oh, I bet you they're pretty good.
I feel like it's a little above that. If that's like...
No, I guess it would have to be if 66 is there, right?
Yeah, I'm just using math.
Hey, you should have taken that bet. That was easy money. You could have taken that money from me so
I bet
easy.
it's 9% away from that line.
Well, and it's backwards. Well, it's actually way down.
It's a lot further than I thought it was.
And there we go. Yeah, so actually it's a little bit higher, right? Guess in this one you'd have to be really aggressive and be hunting like actually, oh, that's an inside bar. It's not a harami. So anyway, so we said that this was the inside bar fail level off the higher time frame, right? Wasn't it? Something like that. I think you can actually justify A, B, C, D coming down into this 1020 area. What's scary about this thing too, look left. Once we get going, if we get a head of steam here, right, and some guy just comes out and dumps, geez. Key support on this thing's actually all the way down there, right? Long way down. So let's hope that doesn't have to happen.
Could you zoom back out to where you were looking at that inverse head and shoulders? I had a quick question.
Is that off of this time frame?
Yeah. So that neckline is right at the 50% level, which would be one of my targets, my upside targets, if I was bullish on that. Yeah. But that's right where you would take the inverted head and shoulders trade. So I'm curious what you think.
No.
Or where it fires, where it would fire.
Yeah,
not where you'd take it.
Just because, hell, you can have like a W come in right up at the top of a trading range, and okay, well, Brian says W's are bullish, but how often does that turn into some harmonic and this is a PRZ and the fucking thing just collapses, right? So you always have to put price action into context. It's so important to do that. And really, this is why I taught the course the way that I did. What's the first reason that we want to do in our sort of 3-step process?
Location.
Yeah, location is always the most important thing. If you take a trade here, to me, yes, like if it plays out that we rally up here, then come back down, then break out, you do the measurement and 200% range extension, right? That should be your target. But really the place to take this trade, and actually, who's getting really, really good at this is David O. I would encourage him to write a course and teach you guys with his perspective, but every time I ask people to do that, it always backfires on me. So, I'm not going to say that, although I already did. But, notice how 200% is basically a test right back up of the old highs there, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. If the neckline is at the 50, double that so you get to 100.
Right. So what I would say is like the place to be really, if you wanted to get in on this, I think the rule is if this is a valid inverted head and shoulders, this low here is not going to get taken out. So this low needs to come in a little bit higher than that low. So you literally want to, as you're watching this play out, you're thinking inverted head and shoulders. You've got that, if we pop up here, that should confirm the bull div. So everything's sort of playing out the way you'd want to see it. You want to let the market just settle down, because if it's head and shoulders, then we got to make a right shoulder here. And you just want to go into super insane stalking mode right down in this shoulder, and this is where you're going to be hunting for that trade.
Yep, gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. It's a tough trade. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't really personally like trading head and shoulders as is. Unless, kind of like what you see down here. I could, thinking, what, there's a big head and shoulders. That's a perfectly legit target. Did you notice that actually there's a little head and shoulders here? Down, up, down, up, down, breakout. Did you see that?
Yep.
So taking that trade and risking the head and shoulders pattern for that 50% target, does it produce 2 to 1? Yeah, that's not bad. I don't mind that. And then, like I said, ironically enough, you're going to get the pop-up. This guy's actually going to be taking partial profits. And a really slick, insane, cool dude trader, a guy like Kobe or something like that, would probably be taking profits. And then he'll come down and he'll buy it back down in here. You know what I mean? So, anyway, does that answer your question?
No, it definitely does. I was just, it's one of those things where I think I wouldn't have been nearly as intelligent about it when I was like in level 1 as I am now, which is, I think, a good thing, but also not great about where I was a year ago.
Well, how long? Do you remember I used to work at an accounting firm when I first got out of college, and I wanted to go, of course, work in the stock market, and I told them I was going to work them at the accounting firm for 1 year. Do you remember? Did I tell you the story about what the partner? He got all angry at me.
I don't think I've heard this one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I gave you half the story. I guess I might as well give you.
You can finish it.
So just got out of UBC. Wanted to work in the stock market, but there were no jobs because maybe the market was down that year. I can't remember. And of course, I had to pay the bills. So I went to Coopers and Lybrand. Do you remember Coopers and Lybrand? Anyway, they were one of the big six accounting firms way back when. I think they merged with Price Waterhouse. Because you have an accounting background, right, Nick?
No.
Every week I ask you this,
keep thinking
right?
so. But, no, I just like math. That's all.
Maybe you just, I don't know. You've got that accountant persona. I don't know. Anyway, so I did work in an accounting firm. And trust me, they are the most boring people in the world. So, actually, I worked in that show do you remember there was a show called 21 Jump Street?
Yes, I am old enough for that one.
All right, so when that was on TV, because I remember Cooper's landed the contract because they did all their filming here in Vancouver. So Cooper's landed their contract, and I remember all the little junior accountants that were assigned to they were so proud of themselves. They got to wear the special jackets that they wear on set and stuff like that, and they just felt like they were big shots. That's like hitting prime time for accountants. I mean, just getting accepted by the Hollywood people like that. Anyway, so once upon a time, I was working in the operations department. Boring. I mean, basically a ground floor accounting job. And while I was there, I wrote the Canadian Securities course. Like, if you want a job in the securities industry in Canada, you have to write this thing called the Canadian Securities course. And it's like a Bible. I mean, it's so incredible big how that darn thing is. It's like, your, I think it's called the Section 7 or something like that down in the States, a broker's license. Oh, my goodness. Oh, ridiculous. So much work.
Was that what you referred to once as like your gigantic yellow?
No, that was the options course. Oh, my God. That's
course.
you.
Okay.
Get your options licensing? Oh, God. They want fucking a quart of blood in one of your legs. It's incredible.
Okay, I don't want to get us too off topic.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I remember in that I had a huge section on how to value swap contracts. Oh God, now that sucks. Okay, so back to our story. So I was working at this accounting firm, writing all the securities licensing and shit because I didn't want to work in an accounting firm. I wanted to work in the stock market. And I worked there for 1 year. And on the 1 year anniversary, I promptly said, thank you very much for the job. I lived up to my bargain. End of the bargain. I'm gone. And I'd already got the job lined up at a local brokerage house, this place called Richardson Green Shields here in Vancouver. They were a commodity house. And man, I was so elated. I was so on top of the world. But the partners at Cooper's, man, they were so angry at me. And one of the partners actually said to me, he goes, Brian, we literally just spent the past year training you for this job. And now you're quitting on us. And he was so fucking mad. And he said, you don't even know a job until you have actually worked on it for 1 full year. And now you're promptly getting up and walking out of here. Get the fuck out of here. He was so angry, man. It was so funny. And I was like, hugs and kisses. The whole thing. But I was a smart-ass, punk-ass kid. Whatever. Anyway, so I tell everybody this. You are, if you fancy yourself a trader, you won't even know what this job is like until you have done it for 1 full year. Because you got to understand, things like, down in the States, they call it 401ks, right?
Yep.
I don't know whether there's state pension plans. I can't remember what they're called. Roth IRAs, all that shit, right? So there's a part of the year that specifically caters to those contributions. Then you have what's called the summer doldrums. And the irony of it all is I actually got started in crypto when heading into those summer doldrums when it got really boring in the crude pits, and on the weekends they're closed and I would go play in crypto. So, and then like when I first started in this business in the fall, they used to have what are called Canada savings bonds. Can't remember. I think they were called, there's a name for them down in the States. I forgot what they're called. But we used to have like CSB drives. God, you don't even have those kind of drives anymore. And actually maybe in this world, maybe we might go back to that kind of world. So there was a full part of that year that was dominated by Canada savings bonds drives. So, and then of course you have tax loss selling season. You have, the summer thaw. So the official kickoff to the construction season. You have the hurricane season. Ben should be able to tell you all about that, and frozen concentrated orange juice. We teach I used to be a commodities broker, so we used to always do the crude oil and the summer driving season trade and unleaded gasoline. I mean, there's just so many facets to this business, but the irony of it all is actually they come on like basically an annual basis. Oh, it's this part of the year. Oh, it's this part of the year. Oh, it's this part of the year. And every part of the year is a different market state. And the market acts differently in all of these states. And of course, all of you in crypto, I'm sure you all know by now how wonderful September, October, November is in crypto. Usually it's a nightmare. And coming out of this summer stupidity, prices are falling like rocks. So, then we used to always joke, they don't call it the fall for nothing. So point is to that whole story, and really to your original point, Nick, is I actually like the way that we've built this education program in this sort of trimester kind of program. And if you follow along the program at a respectable pace and you do a lot of work and you paper trade and you log the trades and you really have your nose to the grindstone, you show up for work, show up for class each week and participate and ask lots of questions. It keeps you busy for just about a year. And so then that way, at the end of that year, I know that, number one, you've been around the market for a full year. So you have a pretty good idea of what usually happens in different times a year. And then number two, they actually say in trading and in investing and stuff, something like 95% of all new people blow themselves up within like 90 days. I mean, it's remarkable. Like literally any new account, there's a stopwatch ticking. And if the guy can get beyond 90 days without completely giving up, then you might actually have a client that might stick around for a while. So there's a method to my madness. There's a reason why I want you going as slow as I want you to. And of course, all the new people to crypto, they're like, I want to learn yesterday. I want to get on the next pump, and all that. And it's just like, oh my God, it's so hard to slow those people down. So anyway, getting on, I guess, after 8. So what do you think? Shall we call it a day?
We should do the spreadsheet guesses.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
we don't forget for 2 weeks in a row. That'd be embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for remembering. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let me just throw this out. This isn't really that helpful.
it's all good.
Yeah, but what do I want to do here? Because we were down on lower time frames. Just give me a second here. I want to get the bearish bot and all that talk.
Yep.
I'll put that away for now. Okay, so we said just off of this thing, I like the idea, and I'll just put like squiggly line theory, something along those lines. And if somebody wants to come back and look at it later on, we can. Actually, maybe we should do like a show where all we don't look at any new charts. All we do is just go back and look at the old charts and then compare what actually happened. That would actually be a cool study to do.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so why don't we leave it at that for now? Great job. Really enjoyed conversation, gentlemen. Always enlightening. The last thing that we'll do here is our big guesses. So, Nick, what do you think? Why don't we put your neck in the noose first? Where are we going? Where are you? You're over here, right?
Yeah, I think that's me. I don't know how I feel. I think I'm going to say a -1.
All right. So slightly lower next week. It's incredible that you actually pointed this out. Fascinating. Like this is like railroad tracks that's going on right now, right?
It is. I mean, it's never going to show in charts because it's a Wednesday to Wednesday weekly, which doesn't happen. But
that's one reason why I like doing like the 9-minute charts and stuff like that. Like we have a view that nobody else sees.
That -1, by the way, based on absolutely nothing. It's based off of a gut.
Your gut. So no setups or anything. Eh?
No setups. I haven't even looked at the chart today, other than when you had it up.
Okay. What was I saying? Was I saying bullish or bearish? I don't even know.
You said all-time high. Well, you said 65K in 2 weeks.
Good. By next week. Son of a bitch.
I think it was 2 weeks, but yeah.
Let's see. What am I saying here? See, this is what I think is going to happen here. This right here. So, when's our next meeting? Oh, next week. Oh, this should be interesting. Because I'm moving at the end of this week. I'm moving over the weekend. I think I should be back online and set up by next Wednesday.
So you're saying the 6th or 7th, we're going to have a big buy signal.
Yeah. Well, that's probably what happens, right? Damn thing breaks out here. But I'm not moving myself. I hired movers. So I doubt it.
You learned.
Because I'm actually going to pony up some dough and have some people actually do the heavy lifting. My hunch is, no, there's not going to be a rally. In fact, I think I'm going to vote 0 just because you said that. I think it's going to just be a big nothing burger. That's funny. All right, Ben, what do you think? Where are we going?
Yeah, what would a -7,000 be? That'd be
-7,000 in price?
Oh, it just seems, we went up 7, down 7, up 7.
So one more down 7. That'd be a big negative too, eh?
It would be, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, all right, let's go with a -2.
Make the call.
Maybe not 7, but
I mean, the good part about it is this is like options, right? So at least the maximum risk is just the purchase price. So you got a big red, eh? Oh, wow. Derek, what are we going to say Derek says? 2. Face Red Bull. There you go, Derek. We've called up your banker and your broker. They're going to extend some. We're going to take a 3rd mortgage out on your house. Didn't realize you're so leveraged, dude. Sorry.
By the way, last time I did this, Ben was correct a month ago.
Right.
So.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and then that means Derek's going to lose his house. Oh, shitty. All right, so you're thinking we're heading right back down into the soup there, eh? So a little bit of a negative sentiment from both of you guys. That's interesting.
Sorry, did you say you were a 0?
I don't know what the hell I am. I was sort of joking tongue-in-cheek there, eh?
Okay, I didn't know if that was going to be
I mean, I'll just go off of whatever this prognostication is. So, let's see what I've said here. I think, and we said next show is...
the 9th.
All right, so where's that? That is right 7th. Oh, that's all the way over here. Okay, so boom, boom. Oh, actually, yeah, look at that. I think zero's got to be the call. So I think it's going to be sort of just right around here, right along this trend line here. That's just about almost exactly where we are now, eh? Yeah, I'll go with a zero. That seems fair. I think there's probably a week or so of just calm before the next insanity hits. We'll see how it goes. All right. So we've made our grand predictions. All right. Are you clapping? Somebody sounds like they're clapping. No? Yes? All right. All right. Well, there we go. Everybody clap. Yay. Congratulations. Good job, everybody. All right. Shall we leave it at that? Any closing thoughts? Nick? All right. We'll start with Nick. Nick, give us a closing thought for this week. What's on your mind?
Options are cool.
Oh, good. Awesome.
I mean, that's what we're doing. We've been doing it in class for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I like them.
You know what? Actually, before we go, that reminds me. Let's take a look just for fun. Oh, actually, maybe bar chart. Are we close to any... Because coin, I think, is now basically a... Yeah. Do these guys have options? Did you hear that? I could have sworn I just heard a clap. Oh, I must be hallucinating.
I think it's Ben.
Oh, okay.
Could be. Yeah, it could be something happening on my end.
Okay.
I'll mute myself.
All right. No, big deal. Don't sweat it. Okay, so March 18th is our next big monthly contract. Let's see where these boys want to take us out. So we are now 194.50, and the puts 194. Ooh, 200. 200 is the heaviest open interest. So according to this, now these things expire on the 18th. Actually, is there another? Well, we got the 11th. Let's see what these guys say here. So the 11th, we've got 175 all the way down there, but that's kind of small. Interesting. So there's the floor all the way down there. This is all open air. Looks like the heaviest open interest on the calls is about 190. So I doubt we're going to go a hell of a lot higher than that. So actually this, I think, might suggest that we need to come down a little bit. Because see how all this is open here? If they had like a big honking open interest up here at 195 or something, then there's no way that they would bring that down, eh? So that's an interesting tell. Price could come off here a little bit. So Ben had that -2 reading, didn't he? I wonder if he knows something. Are you a market maker for the NASDAQ, Ben? Is that your story? Look at this. They got, wow, look at that. 3,000 open interest there on the 200. So you know the stock ain't going to go anywhere above that. And where are we here? 2,700 on that 200. Wow, isn't that interesting? So really, wow, what an odd picture. So I think that they're going to take this thing out somewhere around $200 into that March 18th. So I guess that means that maybe we're going to have a bit of a bid come into the market into that. So a little bit of softness. I don't know, Nick, does that sort of correspond? Remember, did you go through that Facebook example? Wasn't that cool?
Yeah.
It was pretty darn impressive. And it's so cool looking back on it after the fact and seeing what happened afterward. Eh? It's just, wow.
Yeah, I imagine it's a lot tougher to kind of plan it out and act on it like as it's happening.
I don't know. I mean, it's even happening right now.
Or at least to have the confidence, you need to put in the reps.
So, we just have a simple rule that institutions write most of the puts. And you can get a pretty good idea where institutions want to buy stock on any company based on where their heaviest open interest is. And you can see even here for the March contract, if they really needed to buy Meta platforms, where are they willing to actually buy? And you see the heaviest open interest here is at 190. So here's the stock at 208. Looks a little bit pricey. Wow, look at all these. They got to make damn sure the stock stays under 225 or Wall Street's screwed. But all those options are probably going to expire worthless, eh? Oh my goodness, if they do, holy cash register machine. All right, so yeah, well, Nick, thank you for reminding me. Options are cool. All right, and I guess that's exactly what Nick is going through right now in the level 3 program. So way to go, Slick. Glad you're enjoying that. All right, Nick, what's your closing thought for the week?
Ben, you can do one
this
too.
is Ben.
Ben, sorry.
I'll do it for Nick.
Yeah, you do it, Fred. Nick, that's the other Nick I'm talking to. Ben, what's your closing thought?
The app's there. It's free to use. There's no login, so we don't harvest your data. So get it, share it, use it, love it.
Awesome. Yeah, this was Ben's creation. And I think Nick was involved too. No, this was Ben's creation. I'm so proud of him. It's so cool. So thank you so much, Ben. And you just download it onto your phone just with the QR code right here?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep, so take a photo with your camera and it'll just create an icon in your desktop. And it's a progressive web app, so it's not an actual app, but it kind of mimics the website. Yeah.
That's cool. Thank you, Ben. Great job.
Cool.
Okay, everybody, why don't we leave it at that? Thank you so much for your participation. Oh, and just a quick reminder, the reason why we're doing this video, I don't even check, to be honest, which is a little bit slack. I suppose I should go over there and just see if you guys have done anything for us. But the whole reason why I did this show to begin with about a year or so ago is I really wanted to try and get a booth going that just plays these videos 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in Decentraland. And I have a little Ethereum wallet address right there to if you feel like you got any value out of this broadcast and you'd like to help us try and get this thing, get the booth created and built in Decentraland and these videos rocking. Either Decentraland really well and you'd like to help, reach out to me. We have a 30-day free trial on the site, so you can pop on over to the Rajulan Investor and actually test drive our basic dashboard overview for 30 days for free. And of course, you get to participate in all our crazy daily briefs. Go on for like 2 hours. Julian's actually up on deck tomorrow, so fun baby powder report. Actually, I think he's traveling right now. I don't know whether he's going to be on the video or not. Well, we'll see, I guess, in the morning. But if you do feel like helping us get that booth up and running, which I'd absolutely love, and maybe it might be I'll just wait for the developer cycle, and then we'll go spend our Ethereum, our donations on Mana. I think Mana prices actually come down a little bit, so that's good. So we'd love to have you help us build that out. And there's the address if you feel so inclined. I'd love you ahead of time for it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your participation. My panelists, good old Ben and Nick. Derek, hopefully, will be back next week. I don't know. Who took us out last time? I think you did, eh? Ben? Yeah. All right, Nick. I guess you're up on deck. So the only thing left for TRI to say about this point is...
Bye.